Hello all. Today we'll be looking at the Python library Matplotlib and how we can plot different types of graphs using Matplotlib. So Matplotlib is basically a comprehensive library for creating static, animated as well as interactive visualizations in Python. And we know it is a very popular plotting library in Python, and it can be used for creating high quality visualizations or graphs. So you can have different types of plots for data analysis, some sorts of data exploration, or even presentation. So for installing like different types of visualization reports like line plot, scatter plot, bar chart, pie chart, histogram, box plots, and many types of even three-dimensional plottings can also be done. So we'll be looking at Matplotlib in Google Colab. You can do it in any other kind of like Jupyter Notebook or any other tools also. So its installation is much more easy. So we'll be looking at Google Colab itself. So this is a Google Colab file, and look at the first set of introduction. So the setup is you have to use some installation tool like pip. So using the command pip install matplotlib, you can install it if you're trying to do the code in your computer. And once you click on the run button in this Jupyter notebook like this, you can see that because it has already been installed, it is showing the requirement is already satisfied. So the latest version will be installed here. Now for a basic plot, let us learn how to create a basic plot using Matplotlib package. The main module of Matplotlib is PyPlot. You can see here PyPlot. So that helps you creating the basic graph or the utilities. And we'll be introducing this PyPlot. So in order you can write from Matplotlib, you can write it in that way also. But this is another way of writing it, where you write Matplotlib dot PyPlot. So the name of the package, the name of the module is separated using a dot. Okay, and because we cannot write this every time like this, so we'll be using a short name like PLT. Okay, use a short name. So by default, we'll be calling the functions inside this module PyPlot using the alias name that is PLT. ഇപ്പോൾ വേറെ ഒരു പേര് വെച്ച് നമുക്ക് അതിനെ access ചെയ്യാം. Okay. Now, creating a simple plot. A very simple plot is basically a line plot, you can say. So in order to plot using Matplotlib, the main function that is used is plot, P-L-O-T, using brackets. So the main arguments of the plot is x and y, where x shows the value in the x-axis and y shows the value on the y-axis. So these will be the minimum two arguments that should be there for plotting multiple points on a graph. Now, once we plot the graph, we can show it using plt.show. Okay, we can display it using plt.show. Suppose that you have two lists. X is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and y is equal to 4, 3, 1, 2, 6. So these are the, you can say the x coordinates and the y coordinates. So the first point will be 1, 4. The second point will be 2, 3. Third point will be 3, 1. And the fourth point will be 4, 2. And the last one is 5, 6. Now, in order to plot this, we'll be using the PLT alias name that we have used here for the module name for importing the module into this particular code. So that is PLT dot plot x comma y. And finally, this will be plotting the graph. And in order to see the output, we need to write PLT dot show. Okay. Now, when you run this code, you can see you'll get output like this. So you can see the first point is 1, 4. So on the x-axis 1 and the y-axis 4, you can get a point over here. Similarly, on the x-axis 2 and the y-axis 3, you get a point over here, and so on. So this way, a simple line plot without even mentioning the type, we can, draw a plot like this. This is a basic idea. There are other ways of plotting. This is just using a list. You can use a NumPy array. You can use pandas and data frames, etc. So there are many ways of importing data for this plotting. So this is just a basic idea. Now, suppose we have already learned what is a range. So range of values. Suppose I want to need to I need not mention the values individually. I can use the function range where I need values from minus -100, that is -100 to 101. So all the values between -100 and 100 you can say. And I want to plot it as what is a quadratic equation. So so I'm writing a list comprehension here instead of a for loop. I have done it as a list comprehension where you have for every value in x that is labeled as n, you are finding out n raised to 2. So every value in x from -100 to 100, you're renaming it as n and you are raising it to the power of 2 and that will become the new value for y. So for every x, there is a y. Okay, for every x, there is a y. So when you are trying to plot x and y together, you'll get a parabolic, what do you say, graph like this, which shows, what do you say, the square of every value. So when you take -100, the square of that, -75, the square of that, 0, the square of that, 25 in the square, 75 in the square, 100 in the square, and so on. So this way you will be able to plot a graph. So this is a very basic equation for a line graph once again, but with a different input. That's all. Now you can also show multiple lines using this plot multiple times. Say for example, I want to find sine of a particular values, a formula for sine and a formula for cosine. And for the range -100 to 100 and the range say here also -100 to 100. I'm importing the math module here so that I can get the sine function. So I write math.sine 0.1 into n for each value n that belongs to x. So for each value of x, I'll be finding the sine of a particular sine function and then assigning it to y. Similarly, for each value of x, I'll be also finding a cosine value and be assigning it to y. And each time I'll be calling plot. So there is a plot here and there is another plot here using the same PLT. We have not changed the name PLT. And then we'll be showing PLT.show. So what happens in the same graph, you get two different lines. Okay, one is for sine and one is for cosine. Now, what are the different ways of styling these plots? We'll look at that. So in this lesson, what we're going to do is we'll be looking at the same the package Matplotlib and the module PyPlot and the function plot. Now, what are the different styles we're going to see? So suppose that you need to plot a set of two values, like we have two lists, say this is a x and this is a y. So that is you're trying to plot 1, 1 and 2, 2. So one is the x-axis here, a y is here. Then this is the x-axis of the second point and this is the y of the second point. Now you can see we are showing plot.show. So when we're trying to plot this, this is the basic idea. But we do not know what is the x-axis and what is the y-axis. There's no mention of any labels or titles like that. So what we can do here is we can like customize colors. There are many styles we can apply. One of them is customizing the colors and adding titles. So many things are there. So we'll first see what is customizing of colors. You can use the parameter known as color color or simply C. You can either write C color is equal to red. You can write like color is equal to red, or you can also write C is equal to red. Or if you know the hexadecimal value of the exact color that you know, hexa code, then you can write that hexa code over there. Okay, so that is not so easy. You'll have to search and find out. So what we can do is we can just write red, orange, green, yellow. You can write basic colors over here directly. So in order to plot this, I'm doing two plot values here. One is 1, 2, 1, 2. Another one is 1, 2 and 2, 1. So basically the points are 1, 1. First point is 1, 1 and the second point is 2, 2. And then for the other graph, we have 1, 2 again, and we have 2, 1. So you can see they are in the opposite directions like this. Okay, one is pointing at 1, x-axis 1, y-axis 1. Another one is x-axis 2 and y-axis is also 2. And you can see that is plotted in red and one other one is in another color. So you can have customizing by adding colors to the lines. Now you can also change the style of the line by using a parameter named as either line style or you can simply write ls. Okay, so you can write plt.plot. You can directly put it inside here without having names like x and y. Here we had names like You can see we had names like X and Y. So instead of that, you can directly put it in the plot function. So that is what we did here. In the plot function, first we wrote the points, comma, then we wrote the color. Now, when we applying line style also, we can do the same thing. Inside the plot function, you wrote the points directly, then comma, then you can give a parameter like line style is equal to. So if you put a simple dash, then that is a solid line. If you have two dashes, then you call it as a dashed line. If you have a dash and a dot, then similarly you have two dots and so on. If you can also have a line which will the line is there, but nothing will be drawn. Say for example, this 1 comma 5 and 2 comma 5 are one of the points, and the line style is a simple dash. So you can see how it comes like this. A simple dash is a normal line that we continuously draw. But if you want a dashed line, so that is a solid line. A simple dash is basically a solid line. So if you want a dashed line where you need a space between two dashes, then you need to draw two dash. Okay, two dashes. So the two dashes are shown in this orange line over here. And if you want a dash and a dot, it will look something like this. And if you want simply dots only, then you can have a colon symbol like this, a colon symbol, which will show like this. And if you put the line style as null, actually a line is here in this bottom, but what happens is it will not be shown. Now, there are also options where you can highlight the points that you have plotted. Suppose you have 3 points like this, 1 comma 4, 2 comma 4, and 3 comma 4. And I want to mark the points which are highlighted. That means it should be highlighted in the graph. So you can have different types of markers. You can have a simple dot operation. You can have a capital D which indicates a diamond symbol like this. You can have a star or asterisk symbol which shows a star on the points, and you can also have a square like small as you write, so that you can see 1 comma 4, 1 comma 4 is this point, x-axis is 1 and 4 is over here. That is one of the point in the graph I'm trying to plot, right? So that will be marked highlighted with the dot symbol. Now 2 comma 4, the second point is 2 comma 4, so this is 2 over here and this is 4. 2 comma 4 will also be marked by a dot. Similarly 3 comma 4 will also be marked by a dot. So this way you can have different markers. Okay. Now, there are so many things we learned. We learned what is a marker. We learned how to change the style. We learned how to change the color. Now, how do you use all of them together? Okay, that is one way of doing it is you can have a single format, like we call it as FMT, a format string directly into the plot method. Okay, so the basic order is like this. You can say marker, line style. So this is a basic ordering of that format. First you write the marker, then you write the line style, and then you write the color. Say for example, if you want to make a plot with a square marker and it should be dashed, okay, and then the color of the line should be red. So what you can write is you can write it as S dash dash R. What does that mean? The first is the marker. S indicates the marker, then dash dash indicates the line style, and R indicates the color of the line. So let me show you an example. So we are taking the package random, and we are going to create a list of random numbers. So suppose that X value ranges from 0 to 50 or 49, and X values the values of X is given here. Now Y is basically random dot a simple list from the range of 0 to 50. Okay, so you can see here Y is a random number generator. So X is ranging continuously from 0 to 49, but Y is having some random values between 0 and 49. Now, what we do here is we plot the value of X and Y, and directly we write the format string in quotes. So we put it in quotes. That means what? You need a square marker and you need a dash line and you need the color of the line to be red. So this is how it goes. So all the values from 0 till 49, 50 will be marked, but the value goes up till 49. And some random values of Y, for each X, some random value of Y will be taken and it will be plotted. So this is how it looks like. Another example, O hyphen G. What does that mean? O is basically showing the circle. So O means circle. Any black circle can be is a type of marker. Then a single hyphen indicates solid line. Solid line. The what is the type of line it should be. And then G indicates the color green. So you can see how it looks. Same thing. Okay. Now we'll look at the how to add titles, labels, and legends to a particular graph. So till now we only visualize the data, that is points and lines, but it's alone this graph does not make any sense. We need to know what type of graph or what purpose this graph has been created, what is the title, what is the x-axis, what is the y-axis, what does the green and red colors indicate, and so on. So we need to have a, so you can see simply looking at this exponential graph. This is exponential graph because it is 2 raised to n. You can see it is 2 raised to n. So for every value in the range from 0 to 10, for every value, that is range of 11, you are written here. You created a list with range of 11. That means you have values from 0 to 10. Now x contains value 0 to 10. Now y contains value. For each value in x, you are finding 2 raised to 0, 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, and so on. Similarly till 2 raised to 10. So when you do this, you get exponential value like this. So we know that this is the exponential graph, but unless you mention it to the user, it is of no use. So what we can do is we can add something known as title. So title, the function name is title, title, and we can just write here plt dot title and exponential function. So before showing the graph, after plotting the graph, you can just add the title. Automatically, the title will come on top of the graph like this. See? Now we need to know what is the x-axis and the y-axis. So those are known as labels. Now how do we add the label? We have two types of labels here. One is the x label for naming the x-axis, and we also have something known as y label for setting the y-axis. So suppose that I want to the same function that we used earlier. We want to the exponential graph is basically a human population simulation. So I need to know what is x-axis. X-axis is the time, maybe in years or something. So in on this duration of time, what is the increase in population in thousands? So what is the population in thousands? So that is the exponential growth that is shown here. So this is now looking like a complete graph. You have a title, you have X label as well as Y label. So what is the basic idea? Title is added by the function title and just give it in quotes. Label is also by using dot x label dot y label. Also you give the arguments in quotes. Okay. Now, there's something known as legends. So suppose that we have multiple